Hey, welcome back again. Hopefully, you realize this is actually our third session. We're talking about evangelism. So, if you missed the first two, I encourage you to go back and listen to the first two. They're short videos, but it'll help you navigate where we are contextually. We're talking about evangelism and specifically relational evangelism, and this is about reaching the people in our relational orbits, and so we're walking through this process in the book of Acts chapter 8 verse 30, talking about Philip's interaction with the Ethiopian eunuch and gleaning wisdom and revelation from that in how to reach the people around us. And so some of you watch the first two, you might be thinking, okay, now you're going to teach us what to say. We're not there yet. It's amazing. Evangelism, we think about it so much in the context of what are we going to say to reach people, that we really miss a lot sometimes, and we're worried about the wrong things. And if we get the steps right, you won't have to worry about what to say. So this is actually in Acts 8:30. The Bible says, then Philip ran up to the chariot and heard the man reading the Isaiah the prophet. Then Philip ran up to the chariot and heard the man. He heard the man. I want you to highlight that in your heart. He heard the man. Philip didn't start with a message, he started with listening. He tuned in before he spoke up. Evangelism isn't just about having something to say, it's about hearing what's already being said. He didn't assume, he didn't interrupt. He listened to what the man's heart and mind was already engaging and wrestling with. Listening is what gives you access. In a culture full of noise, people don't want to be talked at. They want to be heard. In a culture full of noise, people don't want to be talked at. They want to be heard. You earn the right to speak into someone's life when you've taken the time to listen. Listening is more than just being quiet until it's your turn to talk. It's paying attention with intention. It is tuning in with your spirit and not just with your ears. That's why relational evangelism requires a listening posture. Listening builds trust. It says you matter. Listening reveals entry points. It helps you see where truth can land. Listening honors dignity. It reminds the other person that they're not just some project that you have, but they're a person. And now, what are we listening for? In relational evangelism, listening is not just a courtesy, it's a strategy. When the Spirit prompts us to draw near, we're not just moving our feet, we're tuning in our ears. We're not just hearing words, we're discerning windows of opportunity. Number one, we're listening to locate the area of their thirst. No matter what front people project, underneath it all, we all thirst. We all thirst for something. We all have dry places in our lives, and people's thirst will always arise in what they talk about. We just need to listen for it. People may talk about their careers, their families, their marriage, their emotional disposition. Just like Jesus with the woman at the well, we're listening not just to what they're saying, but what they're searching for. What keeps showing up in their conversations? What are they circling, unsure of how to name it? Thirst points, thirst points us to the well that only Jesus can fill. Number two, we're listening for the burden of their soul, right? Everyone is carrying something. And if you listen with spiritual ears, you'll start to hear it. Regret wrapped in humor, trauma hiding behind success, loneliness dressed up as independence. People don't always tell you they're hurting, but pain has a sound. It has a way of it keeps showing up. But if you rush the moment, you'll miss the burden, right? But if you stay close enough and maybe long enough, the weight will surface, and that's where Jesus enters in as the healer. The Bible tells us out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth will speak if you're there long enough to hear it. And as you approach people, more often than not, the doors to their hearts and minds are sometimes closed, to be frank at first. We are approaching locked hearts many times. Every heart has its own lock shaped by pain, guarded by fear, and reinforced by disappointment, or hidden behind intellect or pride. And if we're honest, that can feel sometimes intimidating, right? Sometimes we know those people that have, it just feels there's a lot of walls up and it feels like they're a bit closed off. But listen, and then all of a sudden you start worrying, what do I say? What if I say the wrong thing? How do I get through? But here's the truth, you don't have to break the lock because people will often hand you the keys. How? Through what they share, through what they repeat, through what they avoid. If you listen with your hearts, not just your ears, they'll show you where the door is and they'll tell you what unlocks it. Sometimes we get nervous thinking evangelism means having all the right answers. But most of the time, it's not about what you know, it's about how well you listen. People will tell you what matters to them. They will tell you where it hurts. They will tell you what is missing. Maybe not always directly, but consistently enough that if your heart is tuned in, you'll know when to speak and how to say it. The key might be empathy. It might be a shared experience. It might be a question that disarms them. Or maybe it's just your patience and presence. And when that happens, don't overthink it. Just speak Jesus gently, clearly, authentically through the door they just unlocked for you to come in. Because the gospel is never meant to be forced in, it's meant to enter through invitation. And that invitation often comes disguised as vulnerability.